Hey there friends, I have some new goodies from scrapbook.com that I want to share with you today. Lots of stamps and stencils, and I'm just going to be making a few fun things with these. So I want to show you some of these stamps and stencils. So we have a few new sentiment stamps. This one is the Feel Better sentiments. It says, hope you feel better, you are strong, sending you strength, and your strength inspires me. So these are some really fun, inspiring stamps. There's also Feel Better sentiments too. So it's you are not alone, here for you, take it one day at a time, and wishing you good days ahead. So those are really encouraging ones that you can put on just some cards to go and encourage a friend or something. There's also these hopeful verses. Now you can see that this one has been well used. We used this one on some Valentines for my kids' friends. It's be of good courage, and he shall strengthen your heart, all ye that hope in the Lord. And that's Psalm 31:24. And there's also Psalm 29:11. The Lord will give strength unto his people, and the Lord will bless his people with peace. So those are also some very encouraging, hopeful verses that are fun to put on cards if you have someone that needs a little bit more encouragement. There's also a Christmas one in here, festive tree and greetings. It says Happy New Year and Merry Christmas. So if you want to get a head start on your Christmas cards for next year, this is a really cute little stamp that you could do. I think it would be really cute to use this little stamp in sort of a color block pattern. Stamp it over a bunch of different colors, Christmassy colors, if you mask out triangle color blocks or something, and then stamp this over it. I think that would be really fun. All right, so there are some really fun new stencils. Here is the mini hearts stencil, and I love it because you've got these tiny little hearts. Great for adding on, layering on top of different inks and different things. So that's a great stencil. This one is super cute. It's the love stencil. So it just says love across the whole thing, sort of at an angle, and the little O for the love is in the shape of a heart. So that's super cute. Now these next three stencils I'm really excited to use, and I might do some crafting with this for my videos today. These are layered stencils. So you've got heart pattern, Easter eggs, and umbrellas. And I'm going to open these up later and show you, but you get two stencils and they layer together to make little patterns inside of those hearts. So I think that's really fun. I'm going to try this one today, I think, and we'll see what it looks like. Also, some more stamps. So this one is the Winter Florals and Greetings. So again, you could go ahead and get started with some winter cards, some Christmas cards if you want to. You've got this one here that you can make a border on the top and the bottom, and then put your sentiment in there. You've got some, I think that's mistletoe, pine cones and poinsettias, little bow, and a wreath that you could build on top of. So that's a really fun Christmassy or just winter type stamp set. And then these are really fun. We always need alphabet stamps and dies, don't we? So we have caps and lowercase, and they're the Brooklyn font. So you get this outline of all of the alphabets, and you get uppercase, lowercase, so you could go ahead and build custom sentiments. So this would be a really fun one to stamp, emboss, and color in, or make some sort of outlined letter, sort of bold graphic designs. So that's what I've got for you today. Let's see what we can make with all of these cool new goodies. All right, so for my first card, I'm starting out with the heart pattern, and this is a layered stencil set. So you get two stencils here. You get those hearts that you can absolutely use on their own, but after you use the hearts, go ahead and put the patterns down and add some pattern to your heart. So this is super cute. I'm going to show you how these layering stencils work if you haven't seen them already. I like to take my cardstock, my card front, if you will, and lay it onto my stencil and then tape it down. And I just kind of make sure it's straightened out the way that I want it. I put my mint tape on the back there, and then I flip it over. So I have my cardstock taped to my stencil, so it's not going to move around all that much, but the tape is behind it, so it also doesn't obstruct any of the cardstock, and I can get a really nice stencil on my paper all the way to all of my edges. I'm grabbing some of my Scrapbook.com hybrid ink and my ink blending tools, and I'm adding some pinks onto here. I'm going to go with sort of a rainbowy theme for this one. So I'm using a few of my favorite colors from Scrapbook.com, some pink, some rubber ducky yellow, and then I'll be adding some blue. And if you want to do rainbows, this is the easiest way to do it. Get a pink, get a yellow, and get a blue, and just use those colors together. And I'm going to show you as you add it on here. I'm going from pink to yellow, and I am putting some of that yellow on top of some of those pink hearts. And when you add those colors together, obviously you're going to get sort of a orange color. So as I'm blending the inks together and blending them on top of each other, I do end up with that rainbow from pink to orange to yellow. And now I'm adding some blue and I'm overlapping it on that yellow and I'm getting some green. So it's a really simple and easy way to add rainbows using just 3 colors of ink. So I'm just continuing to do my ink blending on this stencil, and then I get to pull it off and see that beautiful rainbow hearts that I use using just 3 colors. Now here's where the fun part happens with these layering stencils. You get to take your second stencil, line it up, and then add some fun designs over these hearts. Now you can absolutely go ahead and use some more ink, but I decided to switch it up a bit and use some of these black pops of color from Scrapbook.com, and you can squeeze a little bit of this out onto your stencil and then use your little scraper tool to kind of get it into those grooves of the stencil. So I'm scraping it here across the whole stencil and I'm going in different directions. You can see that I get some of that pops of color sort of built up on my scraper tool, and I'm going back and forth different directions to get it into all of those cracks on my stencil. And I just used a little bit and I was able to stencil this whole background with it. Now, once you have that done, you can carefully peel away that stencil and let it dry. If you get a thin layer of these pops of color, it really doesn't take that much for it to dry. And then you can always take all of your stencils and your scraper tool and everything over to the sink, wash it, and it's ready to go for next time. So to add a sentiment on top of my heart background, I'm taking these Brooklyn alphabet stamps from Scrapbook.com and I'm stamping it out on a piece of vellum. I'm going to use some black embossing powder on top of this vellum, and then I'm just going to add it over my background. I didn't want to completely cover up those hearts because they were so cute, so I'm putting it on vellum so they'll kind of show through a little bit even when I put this sentiment on top of it. Now, when I'm doing my embossing, I like to stamp with my Versamark ink and use a little coffee filter underneath my paper as I pour that embossing powder on so I can catch it and then put it back into my jar, just tapping off all of that extra powder and then heating it up with my heat gun. Now, with vellum, it takes just a few seconds to melt that powder. It really doesn't take long at all, so you don't have to hold your heat gun there long at all. Now, before I add my sentiment over my background, I am taking some Nuvo glitter markers and I'm just coloring on top of this vellum. You can color on top of vellum with some different mediums. Alcohol markers work and these glitter marker works. So I colored it with sort of rainbowy type colors, added some foam adhesive on the back, and I'm just popping it on a card base. And that is card number 1 with these layering stencils. They are so cute. So I'm going to start on my second card now and using the umbrella layering stencils in a bit of a different way. You'll see here it's much more simple and not using the whole stencil, but I'm going to go ahead and stamp out one of these encouraging sentiments from Scrapbook.com, and I'm using their black hybrid ink. Now, if you're interested in any of the supplies I'm using today, go ahead and check out that description box below. I have links to all the things that I'm using. You can head over to Scrapbook.com and see these products in their store and do a little shopping if you'd like. Also, if you haven't already, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and tap the bell for notifications so you never miss another video from me. So here's the umbrella layering stencil. Again, you get 2 stencils, you get that outline of the umbrellas, and then you get the little pattern that you can layer on top. Now, I'm not using the whole stencil on this card. I wanted it to be super simple, so I'm just showing you how you can kind of mask off one of these shapes and just stencil in one umbrella onto your card. I'm using this Cardinal Red from Scrapbook.com and an ink blending tool, and I'm just going to blend one umbrella on the top of my sentiment here. So you can use these little images from your stencils as just a little accent over your sentiments, or just one or two of them on a card. You don't have to use the whole background. You can just kind of single out one of the images from the stencil, and I think that looks really fun. So you can also go ahead and layer it with the other layering stencils. So I'm going to take the little pattern that's little hearts, and I'm going to put that on top of my umbrella, and using some white pops of color stencil that on. Now if you're just singling out one umbrella, you can basically pick whatever design you want on that umbrella. You could have layered the polka dots or the stripes on there, but I thought the heart went well with the sentiment, so I went with that one. And then when you pull it off, you can see you get those really cute little stenciled hearts on top of your tiny little umbrella. So the background for this card, I was going to keep it simple. I'm using the Bold Stripes stencil and some more of that blue hybrid ink from Scrapbook.com, and I'm just inking up some simple stripes. I thought that went really well with that umbrella, and this sky blue with that bold red, I think that combination really works well. It ended up being quite a simple card, but I like the simple bold design, and that pop of red on that umbrella really stands out. So I'm just assembling my card with some foam adhesive here. I did go ahead and add some shiny sequins, kind of made me think of raindrops, using some smart glue from Scrapbook.com, and that really finished this second card. Like I said, it's super simple, super easy, and I love using these layering stencils in different ways. Now here is my third card and my final card for this video. I went ahead and I stenciled and ink blended some stripes. I just masked off these stripes using my mint tape and used my pink, yellow, and blue ink again, and I'm using the Easter egg stencils from Scrapbook.com. This is another layering set, which I think is really fun and really easy to use for Easter. And I did my blue, my yellow, and my pink, and I'm going over this stencil again with yellow. Now I know that yellow will work with all of these colors because once it mixes with the blue, I'm going to get some green. Once I mix with the pink, I'm going to get some orange. And if I put it over the yellow, I'll still get yellow, but I'll have some darker yellow spots, and you can still see that the Easter eggs are there. So it's a really fun way to kind of layer different colors together with these layering stencils. After I had that all stenciled out, you can just pull that off and you can see how fun all of those little Easter eggs are. It also kind of makes me think of jelly beans. So I think this colorful scheme that we're going with here is really spring and Eastery. Now with the pattern, I'm going to take some glitter paste and just smear that on with my spatula and then pull that off, and you can see how fun and glittery that all looks. Now it doesn't take too long to dry if you only use a little bit, so I'm going to put that to the side while I finish the rest of my card. I cut out an oval here and I started ink blending it, but decided I didn't really like that green and I wanted to just keep this egg white. So I just using a oval shape here, and then I used a bunch of these little embossed slimline borders from Scrapbook.com, and again, these are down in the description box if you want to check them out. I went and I cut them all out, and I'm just going to layer them on top of this egg. So it's going to be a white egg, but it's going to have a lot of different designs by stacking all of these borders together, and it actually turns out looking very Easter eggy, if that's a word. So I'm gluing them down, and once I have all of those borders attached, I just kind of trimmed around the outside to trim it down to that egg shape. I added some foam adhesive. I added a fun little sentiment that says Happy Day, and just finished assembling that card. And that is 3 cards using the layered stencils from Scrapbook.com. I hope this gives you a little bit of inspiration on what you can do in your own crafting, and make sure you tap that bell, subscribe, like, comment, and share, and do all the things. I'll catch you guys next time. Bye!